versus AP Bren. And let's see if this whole Angela first pick gambit will work out. That everything is clear. Who's going to walk away and pull off what they need to pull off here. For the game rotations, it's a quick level 2 spike already for a few to get a little bit of the XP from the XP lane of Flap.
Yeah, they're going to have to time this level 4 very early on because at level 4 is obviously the Fredrin's going to have such a bigger advantage in terms of the team fight. So they're going to need that Ogwen factor. They're going to need that Heart Guard X factor here if they want to get ahead in the first turtle, which, judging from the lineup of AP Bren right now, that's exactly what they want to do. And they're trying to get Ogwen to level 4 as soon as possible for that to happen.
And you see all the boots on the side of AP Bren. Wilderness Blessing and Agility as well, so they want to move around the map fast.
You gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast. Oh,
see, that's already the threat right there that I'm talking about, right? So they're respecting it. Kaltizi was, level 4 as well. So already getting a flicker down from Perkziza here before that turtle, 20 seconds away.
And I want to also add the early pickup of the Warrior Boots for a lot of players of Onic. They know what's up. They know they're going to have to just deal with all the damage coming in from Clint, as well as, the Yuzhong and the Martis. All of that is physical, if not true damage. Few's not going to be that much of a threat in the eyes of Onic. And on their itemization, they're actually going to have some huge advantages in the early game.
Yeah, also have to watch out for which team's going to start diving the gold lane a little bit more to help out their gold laner, while Gem is in a tough spot as both teams, and both junglers are already playing around the first turtle.
Yeah, Few already has the advantage here, and that's exactly why you want to do this against the Faramis. You've got the early activation.
There's the Heart Guard with the Dragon Form already. Going to keep them at bay. Kaltizi are going to secure the turtle. Now going to go for the fight. Perks will fall. Flap TZ getting the first blood. Chasing down Gem. Can't get to him, though. The safety of the turret. They still might be happy at just getting some more resources after that.
One of the reasons why I don't really like this Arlot right now, and at this point you saw it was basically a no factor. Even for a very talented player like Gem, right? He is going to be a non-factor in these early game fights, and if he doesn't get any momentum built up, he's also going to be a non-factor in the later parts of the game.
Yeah, when I saw that Black Dragon form with the Heart Guard, I was like, that's terrifying. What can you do to stop it? Not much.
That's true.
Not much, and also the part to kind of consider here, especially with Zemblem, the focusing mark from Ogwen, it makes it that much more devastating. Yeah, it's the early game. Yes, it's just a Yuzhong, but especially if he finds the right setup with the Petrify, all of that results into a ton of damage before you even have to worry about Kyle TZ coming in with a Decimate, right? That's something that happens, and really for Onic have to deal with early on. There is a nice final slash, though. Flap TZ could be in trouble. Man. There's the Heart Guard we were talking about. It's 2 versus 2 for now. Comes down the Appraiser's Wrath. Gem will get that kill. Ogwen not able to keep Flap alive there.
Okay, that final slash was clutch. But in the grand picture of it all, what can Onic do to convert it?
Yeah, that's a good one, because exactly what we talked about, right? If they let this Arlot just stagnate there, they're not really going to get any value of it.
Yep.
Ryzen, he played up his strength on the early game Fredrin, and he played it like a boss there. Even with the Heart Guard, I think even with Flap TZ's Shaw Essence, he did not stand a chance. But right now, they should have done that maybe a little bit later, in my opinion, where they could get advantage. Oh,
Few going to get dragged with Stampede, picking up the Minoan Fury. Won't result in anything after that. All this, though, turtle now spawning.
All right, second one is up here. A lot of jockeying around the mid position, so there might be some late ultimates coming in. Let's see what happens.
Okay, Dragon Form going to come through from Flap TZ. 4 members of Onic here. They're going to fight for it. Nets also getting solo killed down below. Kyle TZ going to secure the turtle. They're going to battle it out. Netherrealm going to come through. On top of the Heart Guard, they find Perks Viva again. He falls. The rest of the team running for the hills. Gem still alive for now, but Ryzen will fall. They lose bodies. They lose the turtle.
We're seeing the weakness, right, of the Onic lineup. Without the airfield normal attacker, all of these sets are just becoming nothing.
Yeah. Okay. And we're seeing the condition that you took out there, Rockhard, for AP Bren. It's just do what you gotta do and do what you can do. And they've done all of that. And the icing on the top of the cake was a solo kill onto nets by the Clint, by Super Marco in the bottom lane, actually committing his flicker to go forward.
Yeah, all of these setups from Perkziva are nothing without the normal attackers. Like we mentioned earlier, it's like they're waiting to just die here.
Yeah. And then we saw their few actually taking away the Minoan Fury as well. This has gone opposite of what Onic wanted to happen for the early game. And this is Bren fighting objectives really well, like what they're known for.
Again, itemization is on point here for Onic. That's exactly what you want to do. But they're waiting for the items of Nets here to come in, to kick in, before their comp is going to do any good damage. And that's taking a while here, considering that I think Nets is being overpowered here by Super Marco in the laning phase.
Okay. Onic has a little bit of time to recover, regenerate just a little bit, but Bren have control of the game. And this dive comp that Bren brought out, now that Super Marco didn't have a problem with the laning phase, actually won it, and he got another tower broken. Everything's set up for this Clint already.
Yeah, he's having a great time. You know, like I always like to say, yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
When the Clint comes through. Or is that you? You like to say that too?
Well, I think everyone likes saying yeehaw.
Everyone likes to say yeehaw.
You can't go wrong with saying yeehaw.
Yeehaw, right? But at that time, Super Marco specifically, I always like to say for the gold laners, if they can have that gold lane experience where, you know, even if he didn't get that solo kill there, he's relatively in a good spot because the rest of the team is doing such a great job across the map, right? This is going to be that third turtle going in the hands. Look at the focus, though, on the bottom side. Ogwin going to get caught.
Ooh.
Worth the trade, he says. Now they trade that third turtle of the game. They do get a turret here, so Onic Philippines at least finding something once this minion wave marches in, if Nets can get it.
That's pretty smart of Onic to go for that with the full knowledge that, you know what, Bren's going to go for that turtle. Yeah. It's going to be easy for us to take this.
He didn't even get the turret, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very unfortunate actually for Onic that they didn't get that. But that was the right call. When you're behind so much, hey, here's a tip for the RG folks out there, for the people that we get to play with, because we're also normies. If it's by third turtle and the lead is massive, maybe try ganking the opposite lane instead. Try to push that instead. And that's what Onic decided to do. It's just sad that they couldn't get the tower.
Yeah, that's usually the weakness, right, of some teams. They become a little bit predictable in that sense where you know they're ahead, they know they're ahead. They're going to go for these objectives right away. They're not going to wait for you. They're not going to set up that many traps. So you can play on the other side of the map here instead and get something for your team at the same time.
It's a consolation prize, though, at this point. Just a little bit of gold, a little bit less deaths, and Onic will continue to remain playing defensive for the majority of the next few minutes. Bren, all I see now is just an error costing them, or maybe one really great setup by Perkziva and Super Prince combined. But, again, the question is, will they have the damage? Because Nets is still catching up to Super Marco, who's 2 levels ahead of the Irithel.
That's the biggest missing piece of this puzzle right now for Onic Philippines. You know, you guys talked about it earlier. They just don't have any damage, you know, right now, and that's kind of the unfortunate truth. And with this being such a disparity now in terms of gold and items, it's even more apparent, right? So not only have you given up the 3 turtles, you have no space to work with because you don't have a single turret, which, you know, thinking they would have got that bottom one, but great job for Bren not to let that happen, because what all this results to is, again, the Lord's coming up in 10 seconds. Onic Philippines not in the best position to even contest that. They might just be better to go ahead, stay on that defensive side, deal with the Lord, giving up the Lord, and then hopefully defend your base, because, again, all of this is really relying on Nets to get that 3rd, 4th item on this Irithil, and then hopefully get a great setup utilizing what you have here.
Yeah, and you see there, Rockhard, Onic still committing to the same plan. They knew they still couldn't contest it. No way yet.
Yeah, keep in mind, though, Onic, they have the tools to really survive. They've got the OG Netherrealm, and they've also got some pretty good healing coming in for the Minotaur. So if it comes to that, Death Ball, Onic's Death Ball is definitely going to be at an advantage. It's all up to Bren to stop that from happening. It's all up to them to stop the inflow of gold. That's why they're so adamant to make sure that, you know what, let's keep these towers alive as much as we can. You know, make sure that Nets doesn't get the gold that he needs. Just starve out Onic. That's the game plan of Bren right now.
Yeah, can Bren seal the deal, though? Again, going into this day, they got swept by RSG. Despite them controlling majority of those games, they weren't able to hold on, and they weren't able to, rather, close it out. Can Bren close it out now, though, against Onic? 10 minutes in, still a massive lead. for APB.
They're in a very decisive positioning. They're very, what do you call that? Very aggressive positioning. So
Yeah.
maybe that's what's on their mind right now as well.
Like, end it now.
So
That's the, like, even with this, right, you can see the gold lane alone, you nearly have the 2,000 gold lead difference, right, in terms of gold lane alone. So that is going to play a part. They're going to have to deal with this. Flap-Teasy going to give it a go. Look at Nets already being forced back there.
Ouch!
Lord's still going to be worked on. Turret going to take some hits, but ultimately, Onic Philippines going to hold it together for this first Lord push.
all right, temp check, and it's a little bit too hot, you know. Flap-Teasy got whittled down to maybe 20% in one cycle there. That's not a good sign for Bren as well.
Yeah. Damage is available for Onic, but the damage on Super Marco, man, with the Resurgence Fury, Endless Battle, and with the Malefic Roar as well. I think that was just like one full first skill.
One combo, yeah.
Yeah, one combo, along with the enhanced basic attack coming in from Super Marco. It brought Nets down to like 40,
Below
like
half,
60,
yeah.
50%. Yeah, that hurt.
That hurt. And I'm a little bit surprised at the same time that Onic didn't really pull the trigger there, considering that's exactly where they want to be. They want to be full on together in the lane and maybe have someone, an outlier, a bit far away on the other side of the map. And again, it's just Onic being very, very safe here. Damage received, obviously, Ryzen, Perxiva. They're tanking up so much. With Super Prince's insurance policy of the Netherrealm, they actually can do a pretty good, you know, they can survive a good 10, 20 seconds of just them in the front line just absorbing all that damage.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
Nets has to keep up, man.
Let's see if he can. Let's see if he has already. But at this point, with Flap-Teasy already TPing his own teammate, and I think that's a good showing of how much in the lead AP Bren are at this point. 12
Yeah.
minutes in. If you're only joining us now, it is a 7,000 gold lead for APB. They've taken all of the major neutral objectives so far in this game. It looks like they're on the way to getting another. Onic still grasping the straws and trying to find a way to make a comeback here. They're trying to split and open up the map, going for side lane pressures instead.
Yeah, the information is going to be there. Of course, you've got Ogwin spotting them out. They're going to go ahead and just call it back. So they got to deal with this. The minion will get the turret, it looks like, up there on the tier 1. That's down, but Lord secured again for AP Bren. So Onic Philippines on the defense, right? How long can they do this? I think that's one of the biggest questions. And every time you see a team down this much, nearly 8,000 gold, this is really your only option. You know, try to buy as much time. If that's, 5 minutes, then so be it. But at least you're still in the game.
You know what's super funny? Because right now, AP Bren's up almost 8K. I'm still worried about them because this has been a trend, right?
Yeah.
This has been the trend of AP Bren. So advantages in the early game, but then they just slip up. Especially with a lineup like Onyx, their late game presence is enormous.
Yeah, with all the sustain they have. But again, the key word here is damage. Already Divine Glaive picked up by Super Prince, but Super Marco's up to a Blade of Despair. So will, at this point, now be the sustain enough? Because that's a lot of damage on the marksman. Ouch! Oh, my goodness!
That's it right there. That's Clint Morgan.
Yep.
He put perks to half.
Oh, man.
Well, they're going to push in it once again, focusing on this top turret. Flap-Teasy with the hard guard, going to push Nets back the best he can. Turret going to fall here. Lord still up as well. Bottom went down. They hold on to the mid inhibitor turret. Lord will finally go down. Onic Philippines holding on to one base turret.
Wow.
All right. So we're seeing exactly where I think we were talking about here, Gem just being a non-factor in these engages, because even if he can...
Oh
my God!
Super Marco taken out in an instant, and Flap-Teasy to follow. You mentioned the late game potential. There it was, Rockhart.
Well,
Right on cue.
He took that personally. What do you mean, non-factor? Black. Final slash from out of nowhere. Again, the hidden gem. There's a reason why he was hyped up heading into the series, why he's been touted for his performances in the recent weeks.
Straight into the face of Super Marco and mine as well.
Oh, that is exactly what we were talking about before we even got into this game. Number one was both these teams have experience having these leads for a majority of a game and then it dropping the ball, slipping out of their hands. And Onic Philippines, that's the first step. That's actually step number 2 towards what they need to do, right? They're getting a little bit more confidence here. They've shrunk the gold lead by about 3,000 gold. And we might actually see them for the next Lord try to contest it there.
Yeah, they are rock hard. Are they in the scenario to contest now for the next Lord? I think they are.
They're actually pretty good right now as a death ball, but they're going to be a little bit vulnerable. Right now, their base is very exposed. Man, that deserves a super slow-mo right there. Straight into a place where AP Bren can't really react because the hard card's not available anymore. Gem read into that beautifully.
Wow. And now because of that one play set up by Gem of Onic, they are now in a position to contest.
There we go.
Still a bit of vulnerability though, as Rockhart mentioned. Let's see what they can pull off here, or will AP Bren still secure this one?
The waves actually look really good for for Onic at this point, so they have some time. But if AP Bren keeps dancing this, they will have to come back to defend eventually.
Yeah, they're going to have to watch out for this. Lord now, less than half health here. View also holding on to them, knowing Fury will look to use it as well. You got to keep an eye on both of them. Flap TZ with the hard guard, going to push Onic Philippines back the best they can. Still Ryzen trying to hold the front for this Lord dance. Going to go, and Gem goes in with a huge final slash as well. Ryzen gets the Lord, and the fight breaks out. Both Nether Realms being used as well. Perks will fall, and now Kyle takes when he falls. One down for AP Bren, multiple down for Onic Philippines. It's only Ryzen and Super Fritz now back up in the base, but Ryzen will fall.
Yep. Onic got the Lord, but I think AP Bren is still going to be getting that win on that clash. 3,000 gold though, the gold difference definitely thinning out, but will Onic respond in time?
They're just going to push it. Super Fritz, they don't care about Super Fritz, they don't care about the Lord. AP Bren will not let it happen. They take game 1.
This winning moment